Welcome back. This is James Possible, and today I'm going to do something a little different, something I really enjoy doing and would like to do more of. So if you do like this kind of thing, please take a moment in the comments below and let me know, and remember to share, like, and all those kind of things. All right, so let's talk about trading in hindsight and why it does not work. Inevitably, if you watch enough presenters walk you through hindsight trades, you will see the flaw if you as a trader are operating from a critical mindset, not an attacking mindset, not being a critic, but rather observing and really listening to what they're saying, watching what they're doing, and asking yourself, is what they are presenting us correct? So, this particular trade, that's another thing. I'm not really a fan of, when presenters show stuff that trades that are so out of date. This is back to November of 2018. They just sent this out. So for this particular group, they feel this is relevant enough to share it. Again, they may have shared it before. And to be clear, this is not to suggest anything bad or good about the people that have this program. This is really all about the presentation of this testimonial and what the testimonial is actually saying they are doing. They are saying one thing and their actions are doing a different thing. And it's really important as a trader, Forex or otherwise, that you understand this kind of thing when you are having somebody walk you through different setups in hindsight, okay? Hindsight meaning that you're looking at a historical chart. You are not looking at a live and active candle, okay? So let's jump in. Let me zoom in here. Okay, so this is the pound yen on the H4 time frame. And again, this is back to 2018, November 8th of 2018. Now, there are no markups at this point. This is really just their setup. And it's a setup that they've been, I mean, they've been trading this particular setup for a long time. So, and there are people that are having success with it. So, again, that's not the point of this conversation. So let's go to the next picture. Zoom in. Now, these are snapshots of the video that the testimonial video, and I will provide you that link, and you can then the link will be in the description below, okay? And then you can click on that and watch the video yourself to see if you can put together all the pieces that that I'm breaking down for you. Now, at this point, the gentleman that's providing the testimonial, and his goal is to share with the viewer, and there's some really great points about he's walking through alignment. In other words, multi-time frame alignment. So here he's showing you at the beginning that on the H4 he has that alignment. Now here's the challenge. You can't really, it's a little blurry, so I don't know if you can see it, but it's 2018, 11, 8, and then it's the hour is 1600. So that means the candle to the right of that vertical line is the 2000 candle, because we're talking about 4-bar candles, right? So we start out with the 0 candle, we go to the 4, we go to the 8, go to the 12, we go to the 16, the 20, and then we start back over. So what he did was he dropped the line on the 20-hour candle, which is the last candle you see on the right, and then he slid it over one candle and positioned it on the next to last candle. However, we're talking about the H4 time frame. So that means when he pushed that vertical line back to the left, on the H4 chart, it was just one candle. However, in reality, he pushed it back 4 hours. And you can just look at the snapshot to see that, and if you can't see it clearly enough, then watch the video and you will definitely be able to see it. So the relevance of this vertical line is quickly changing. And you gotta be really aware of what's being shared when somebody's walking you through a trade in hindsight. Okay, so let's move on to the next. Well, here we have moved to, or I should say he had moved to the H1 time frame. So again, that's 4 hours previous to the last H4 candle. So the time frame is still, if you look down below, it's still the 1600 hour. However, correct me if I'm wrong, but the way this discussion is happening, the testimonial, is that he's looking at it as if it is present time, and it's not. I suppose I could be mistaken, but you listen to it and you be the judge yourself. And please pay attention to what I'm saying, because it's so important that you understand how to break down these kind of things. So in reality, had he really wanted to move that vertical line back to the left, all he would have had to do was move the vertical line 1 minute to the left. Not 4 hours, but 1 minute. Which would have been 1959 as the hour. So notice the gap in the two lines. The line that was originally drawn and the line that I have drawn that actually represents 1 minute before the last H4 candle. And notice the change in the indicators. So the originally drawn line, you have red, 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 which he talks about, 4 bars, which is a perfect setup, right? Things change when you start looking to the right on the H1. You have the red, the red, the red, but at the bottom you have black. And you can look at the difference between the last, on the bottom indicator, the difference between the candle he marked and the candle I'm marking. Huge difference. The movement is way different. Okay, so that's the H1. So now let's go to the, let's see, what is this one? M15. Again, look what's playing out. If we're really looking at the preceding candle, and why would I be concerned about that? Because if we're looking at the close of the last candle, then that's, in that last minute, is the representation of that candle. Not 4 hours previous. 4 hours previous is a whole different setup compared to what's happening now. So the point is, and let's quickly go back here to, let's slide up, well actually let's go back to this one. Let's zoom in here. This H4 candle that he marked, that he dropped the vertical line on, as we move back in time, it would not have been completed. And we've got to really be careful about that, right? It becomes confusing because if we're looking at the beginning of that 4-hour candle, you're not going to see the bottom 3 indicators looking the way they look right now, because they're looking the way they look at the close of that H4 candle. So let's go back to where we were, right here, back to the 15. So here we are. Now, is there a trade on the M15 based on their setup? It certainly looks like there is. I'm not an expert on their situation. However, if I'm walking backwards from the H4, I've got to say it differently. I've got to look at it differently. I can't look at it where he drew the line and relate it back to the H4, because it doesn't have that same relevance. So we are on, see, so if we even go back to, this is the M15, if we go back to the H1, all of this is already completed on the H1, because this is the close of the H1 candle. So you would not see all of this if we were truly looking at the trade at 1600 hours. So that's, this is the M15. The reality is we wouldn't see all of this if we were looking at the chart at the 1600 hour. I'm not saying that there isn't a setup there, but the question is, when is that setup actually happening in time? Even goes down to the M5, and again, we're into this scenario. So we may have this perfect setup on the M5, but notice if we go over 1, 2 candles, or 3, we're into the second M15 candle. I know this is a little confusing. And the setup is there is the alignment is lost at that point. So if I'm going to look at the H1, this is the M5. I've got to count over 12 candles. Why? Because 5 times 12 is 60. 60 equals an hour. An hour is the H1. So if I count over 12 candles, 2, 4, 2, 4, 2, 4, 6, 8, and 12, somewhere in this area, right? And even if I go 1, 2 candles this way or this way, we still end up with red, blue, red, black. It totally changes the whole scenario. So the point is we don't have this multi-time frame alignment that's being shared as if it's just so easy to see it. It's not there. It's not happening. Now, if you were watching the M5, would you see that alignment? Sure looks like you would, right? Go back to, but now look at that M5. Let's zoom in on that one more time. And again, yeah, so we would have to wait for the close of the candle that the vertical line is on to actually see the red, 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 red. Because prior to that, it was black, red, red, red. And again, I don't know the specifics of their trading, but based on what he was sharing, it doesn't sound like black's what they want to see. So the next candle, so after the close, you would have had red, 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 right? Which in essence, since this is the beginning of everything, this is really, this might confuse. Since we're at the zero, at this point we're at the 1600 hour. So the first 5 minutes, the first 15 minutes, the first 30 minutes, well, let's just stay with the 5 minutes. The first 5 minutes, you'll see every candle. So the M5, the M15, the M30, the H1, and even the H4 will all look the same. As far as the candle. Now, will they look the same on the indicators? I don't know that. But in hindsight, there's really no way to know. Because in hindsight, we don't get to see what's happening on the H1 time period for each of those 5 minutes in comparison to the other H1 candles. Same thing with the H4, same thing with the M15. So you've got to be really careful. So really, that first 5 minutes, because you have alignment on the M5, and let's say you have alignment on the other time frames, the question is, are you really seeing alignment across all time frames, or are you just simply seeing alignment on the M5 time frame? So if we're looking for alignment across 4 time frames, in this case, what the H4, the H1, the M15, and the M5, I'm suggesting to you that it's not there. I'm not suggesting that there's not a setup in this window, in this period of time being discussed. I'm simply suggesting that you do not have the multi-time frame alignment that's being shared. And nor can you find that multi-time frame alignment in hindsight. At least not the way it's presented here. So when you jump around on time frames and you're looking at historical charts, you have to understand when you're looking at that H1 candle, there's 12 price candles that have played out in that 1 hour time frame. And the indicators, while the indicators on the M5 might show a certain truth, a certain setup, the H1 may not show the same setup for the whole H1 candle. So the point is, hindsight can be very deceiving, and it's just something that it's so easy for even the presenter to get off base, and it's so easy to mislead when presenting in hindsight. You have to be really, really, really careful. And when you go back in hindsight, because the candles aren't closed, they're actively moving back and forth, right? Up and down, back and forth. And in that movement, things are happening. Indicators are changing. Their values are changing. So they're presenting differently. You can have things crossing, and by the time the candle closes, they're not crossing. Or you can have things gapping, and by the time the candle closes, they're crossing. So it's not, so the point is, in hindsight, you got to be really, really careful. Again, does their system have validity? I don't trade it. I know they've been teaching it for a long time, so I'm thinking that there is some validity in it. I'm thinking it does work. How else could they keep teaching it and sharing it with the world, right? But that's really not the point here. The point is that the testimonial is very misleading about that vertical line and what that vertical line is showing in hindsight. Again, this is James Possible. I want to thank you for being here. I'll probably do more of these hindsight trades. I have a few others that I've seen that I would like to talk about. And then remember, in the description below, I will have a link to the original video, so you're welcome to watch it. And if you think I'm full of crap, I don't know what the heck I'm talking about, feel free, comment away. I don't care. It's tell me what you see, because I'm sharing with you what I see, and it's something that I see that trips up more presenters and traders than any one thing that I've ever seen. So yeah, I think that's it. I don't want to belabor this point any further. So if there's the video, okay, and I'll share with you the link. And if you want to find out more about me, all you have to do is go to jamespossible.com, and you'll see all my various social media links, and there's even a couple MetaTrader 4 tools. And then I'm trading gold these days as part of my overall package. I really need to redo the video on that link. It's crappy, but it is what it is. I've kind of been putting it off. But this is a, if you want to be, if you're interested in cryptocurrency and you want to, you're interested in it being one that's being backed by gold, well, this is it. And you know, you have to do your own due diligence, but I'm already invested in it. I have gold. I'm trading. I'm also there's also opportunities to trade in this particular project. So I'm a trader, and I trade the Forex predominantly, and now I'm trading some gold and cryptocurrency as a result of this particular project. So again, this is James Possible. Thank you for joining me. Leave your comments and everything below. Like, share, and all those things. Till next time, stay green.